Hi and welcome to week 3 of my wildlife year. Right, so I'm in my office just now, workshops through there. Um, just been doing a few jobs. One, which I find quite interesting, but you might think it's a bit, is looking after my unplanned colony of mealworms. And basically, I feed mealworms to any sort of like rescues I get, especially grounded bats or injured bats, such as this. And as you can see, the mealworms go down rather well. This is a soprano pipistrelle which I had in care last year, yep, last summer. So I got some mealworms and I kind of sort of like, I thought they'd all sort of like died and all that, but a few had hatched out into adults, pupated and hatched out in the adults, and they obviously had done what beetles do, and they had laid some eggs. So I've now got another generation of mealworms which I'm growing on for this year. So here, have a look at them now. So here's my tub of mealworms, and it's got air holes in the sides, so just because when they're small they can sometimes escape, I've got it in a bigger one. In fact, you can actually see here, I'll move this out of the way, there's one there, and there's an even smaller one there. So I'll just pop them back in. So in here I've got some porridge oats, and also in there's some, I need to get some new bits of carrot in there, but put in some fresh carrot just so that they've got something to chew on for water. And if we go down a bit, hopefully you should, hopefully you'll be able to see that's starting to actually move the porridge oats. Of course, it's not the oats that are moving, it's the mealworms underneath the oats. So there's one just there. See it? So they'll grow up and they'll grow to about that length, and then they'll pupate, and then they'll turn into beetles, and then the life cycle starts all over again. So I potentially could have an unlimited source of mealworms. So that's really we finished up talking about mealworms, so let's go on with the rest of my wildlife year, week 3. Dexter and I are down in the small mammal traps in the kitchen, and the big one that I recommended for in the house in Mammal Review has something in it, but it's not a mouse, it's not a wood mouse. I'll show you what it is. Right. Now, is it going to come out? There it is. Can you see it? It's a bangful. So you don't always get mice coming into your house. Sometimes you get little voles. I love voles, they are so cute. So when I release it, I'll give you a closer look at it. You can see the difference between a mouse and a vole. Voles have much smaller eyes, much reduced ears. They're actually reasonable size, but they're flatter, and also a very short tail. Right, so here we have the little bank vole. It's an immature female, quite young. So bank voles are a lot more photogenic, or voles in general are a lot more photogenic than mice. You can see that the ears are flatter to the head, that little eye, as I said, and that really quite short tail. So just going to take this one and release it. I'm going to be a bit soft and not take it far to release. I'll just release it close by. Right, I'm just going to release it just next to my workshop, so that it's actually, because it's been inside, it can sort of maybe shelter in the workshop if it needs to, but also nice big hedgerow here that it can shelter in. So there it goes, off on some new adventures. Right, we're coming up to the time when bats might start to get active. I've seen them out mid-February if we've got a mild year, so I thought this isn't a review, this is just a recommendation, because I actually got asked a lot when I lead bat walks and other things to do, other batty things, what's the best bat detector to get? And people sort of say, you know, want to spend a lot of money on it, and I always say don't, because actually probably the best off the shelf bat detector is also the cheapest that you can get, certainly for a beginner, and that's the Magenta Bat 4. There is a Bat 5 which has a digital display here, but really you're paying, unless you've got, the only benefit I can see is unless you've got bad eyesight and can't read this dial, the numbers in this dial here, there's not much benefit really for spending 30 quid more to get a digital display there. This one is about 60 to 65 pounds. They're dead easy to use. You just put them on till they hiss. There's other electrics in here, that's what that high pitched noise is, and you just turn it. It's a bit like an old FM radio, just put it in. I'm not going to go into how you use it to listen to bats, but I just sort of thought I'd say Magenta Bat 4, if you're looking for a bat detector for the coming season, this is the one to go for. If you shop around, you can get ones, as I say, for 60-65. Sometimes you can get them with a carry case or with the sort of like Field Studies Council fold out bat thing, which on the back tells a lot of useful information about bats, calls and their bandwidth and where the peak frequency is. In the not too distant future, I'm going to go out and do some batting once the bats are more active, and then we'll do a bit of a longer session in my wildlife week on bats. So I'm really looking forward to that. In the kitchen again this morning, and it's been 3 days since we caught the bankful in the humane trap in the kitchen, and there's something in it again today. Not a bankful this time, but another wood mouse. Let's go and have a look. There it is down that corner. Not very easy to see, but what I'll do is I'll take this light off, pop it in there and see if we can lift it up. There we go. Nice view of the mouse there. Big ears, big eyes and a really long tail. Compare that to the bankful from the other day. You can see the difference between them. Right, so we've got the wood mouse out the trap here. I've clip marked it there, so I'll know if it comes back. So I'll just pop it in a wee tub now and take it for release. I'll keep it in my hand any more than I need to. Right, so here I'm at the release site now, so just going to let it go. Quite a nice day, and hopefully it'll go and find a nice place to settle down. Off she goes. Oh, she's still there. There she goes. You going to disappear? Or are you just going to stay there? Oh, there she is. Off to find a new home. Hi, due to bird flu, we've got to keep our hens under cover at the moment, so they're locked up in a cage, but I don't know how, but this blackbird has made its way in, so I've managed to catch it, and I'm just going to release it now. Here it goes. Off into the hedge, safely. Been stuck a bit inside this week due to wet weather and wintry weather. I've done some sort of like collation of my wildlife records, but I like to do sort of mix it up a bit. So what I've also do occasionally is owl pellet dissection, and if you've never done it before, it's well worth it, because you never know what you're going to find. So we'll have a look and see what we've got in some pellets I've got. Now this book here by the Mammal Society, the analysis of owl pellets, is brilliant, well worth getting. It's about £5 if I remember right. It covers lots of different things in it. It's got some nice easy to follow keys of the skulls that you'll find, the lower jaws, but also towards the back there's also other bones that you might find, leg bones, pelvic bones, identifying them, as well as invertebrate parts. Really worthwhile getting. Won't break the bank, but slightly cheaper option, although not as in depth, is the Field Studies Council Guide Owls and Owl Pellets, which I covered, was it last week or the week before? On this side here you've got again various bones that you might find. So what's an owl pellet? Well, this is an owl pellet. It looks a bit like a bit of poo, but as I always explain to someone, it doesn't come out that end, it gets coughed up. Basically, imagine you're an owl, you swallow a small mammal whole, it all gets digested, all those sharp bones, they're going to be rather nasty to poo out, aren't they? A bit uncomfortable. So what it does is wraps them all up in a nice parcel with all the fur, and coughs it up, and drops out. I'm not going to do this owl pellet though, because it's actually, I was going to say my favourite. It's not my favourite, but it's a really good solid one that I use for demonstration purposes. What I'm going to do is use this one here, which is a bit older, and it's probably not old, it's probably about the same age, but it's a bit more crumbly, mainly because if you get owl pellets, quite often there will already be sort of like moths have laid their eggs in it, and the caterpillars come out and feed on the owl pellet detritus, and it gets a bit crumbly, and you end up with caterpillars making cocoons and then coming out, and your owl pellets go a bit crumbly. So that's what's happened to this one. You can see here remnants of moths and cocoons here. So you can do it two ways. One is to get some water in the tub and break it up, but I actually find it's a bit messy and sometimes a bit hard to see. So just start, sometimes they break apart quite easy, like this one has, because this one's quite old, and in there you can actually see there's a jaw straight away, and here's a skull, and now it's actually something quite unusual here. I think this is a whole skull, so that's another lower jaw there. Yes, the skull is actually intact here, which is quite unusual, because what normally happens is the killing blow from the owl goes in the back here and basically crushes the back of the skull, but this one hasn't been killed like that, so that's quite good. So what I'm going to do is just take here and clean up. Now a couple of teeth have just come out there as I did that. Now how easy can you see these teeth here? Right, if you look both sides, the top and the bottom, so what the bit that was sticking sort of like the grinds is flat, and also so is the root flat, and that tells me this is a field vole rather than a bank vole. If it was a bank vole, it would have sort of like a double root. The tooth would actually go, and sort of there'd be a gap in the middle with roots going down either side. So this tells me this is a bank vole. You've got all sorts of other bones. There's a rib bone there. So it's a bit of a shame. This one, the back of the skull's fine, but the eye socket here is broken. It's not broken on this side. Ah well, you can have it all. So see what else is in here. This looks like another skull here. Older pellets like this often sort of like just sort of crumble, which is good. You can, if you want, have a sort of like a bit of water beside you. We tub with some water beside you, just to wash things. My problem is I'm getting old, and I struggle with my eyesight, sort of like to see. With my varifocals, if it's too close, I still can't see very well. And I think we've actually got 3 skulls in here, from the look of it. There's another lower jaw. And it looks like 3 voles, but I'll just check. This one, you can see here that the back of the skull has all been bashed in. So there's bits falling away from it. It's all been bashed. There's another. What I'll do here is just always say, if in doubt, pull the teeth out. So just pull that tooth out there. And again, oops. You probably couldn't see that. Oh no, there it's there. It's landed in my lap. It's flat both on the top and the bottom. Here's a closer up photo of it for you. So, interestingly, here's another one that has a full skull, and I think both these. Yeah, it looks like both these eye sockets are fine. Let me just check. It's another fuel bolt. I'm keeping that together because I quite like. This looks like a good. What you can do is use either forceps or get a use a dissecting needle, or just get a bit of oh, what's the word I'm looking for? The cocktail stick. That's the word I'm looking for. Cocktail stick, just to clean out all these bits. And if you're wanting to get your skulls and keep them and have them nice and clean, just get some hydrogen peroxide. You can't get really strong stuff because that can be used by naughty people to do some dangerous things. But just you can get some sort of like more dilute stuff and just put the skulls in it for a wee while to whiten them up. That's actually a really nice skull there, so I'm going to keep that one to do it. I've said before I like to reuse things. This tub here I think came with profiteroles from, I think it was Marks and Spencer's when my son worked there. But it's actually a really good tub I found for doing it. So another bone that I found was this one. Now, since all 3 were bankfuls, we know it'll be a bankful. So what does this tell us? Well, I'll have a quick look in this book and show you where, if I can find it, relevant page. Yes, here we go. So, the relevant page, we've got sexing. So this is the femur of rodents. So If you look at this one, it goes out very far here at this corner. And B is a male. So we've got at least one male rodent in here. I'm thinking I might do, I'm not quite worked out how to do it yet, but I might do a owl pellet analysis sort of like course online. Maybe get people to, if they can find some owl pellets, to dissect them and that, and do it on Zoom, and we can actually look at what everyone's found and we can ID it. Let me know either in the comments below or on social media if that's the type of thing that might interest you. Not sure if you'll be able to see into the sun, probably not, but there is actually two buzzards there. One just coming across now. There it is. And you see it flying down through the trees there. There's actually not very many buzzards around this area usually. I don't see them that often, certainly don't hear them calling, so that was really great to see that one there. It's just flying about. I'm trying not to fall down the steps as I walk up them. It's flying through there. There it goes. Is it going to fly over? Oh, there's the second one. We've got the two buzzards there. That's excellent. I mean, when I first moved down to the border, just 23 years ago, buzzards were not that common. Certainly inland they weren't. More on the coast, there it is. Huge wingspan. But they've actually become a lot more common now, and it's actually an unusual, if I'm certainly out driving, it's an unusual day not to see a buzzard. Excellent. Review section for this week's My Wildlife Year is this book here. It's hot off the press. It's just arrived this afternoon, Friday afternoon, and I've spent some time looking through it, and I don't know now whether I'm going to be able to get this video out today or whether it will actually be Saturday. It's looking more likely for Saturday, but I just wanted to do this. It's hot off the press, I say. Three authors, one of which I know, Ash Whiffen. She's a carrion beetle expert. She's my go-to person if I find a carrion beetle, which I actually do quite often in mammal traps, turn up occasionally. I think they're attracted by the dog food put in there just in case we catch any shrews, or as I did last year, like this one here, I caught it in a moth trap, in my moth trap that I just got last summer. It's not just an atlas, it is an atlas, so it tells you distribution. It's got some nice distributions of all the different species in here, but it's much more than that. Each species has a couple of pages detailing its ecology, its distribution, and also its conservation status. But also they've taken, Ash and her colleagues have taken some time out and named them all, so they've actually also got a common name as well as a scientific name. Some already had common names, but they've made sure that everything's got a common name, and there's some brilliant ones in here. I'm just trying to remember. The grassland carrion beetle, that's sort of that. I don't want to. Oh yes, the common snail hunter. It's just sort of like, you know, it tells you everything you want. There's the common burying beetle, the bent-legged burying beetle, the banded burying beetle, the interrupted burying beetle, the grave digger. That's a brilliant name. And the caterpillar hunter, the elusive beet beetle. There's just some really cracking names in here. Anyway. Also in here, some lovely plates. They're just absolutely gorgeous. Nice big ones. You don't have to squint to see what you're looking at. Also in here, there's keys of how to identify them. There's about how to look for them. So there's sort of like how to treat your dung if there's if it's one of the dung beetles, and also sort of like, you know, how to go, you know, carcasses and stuff like that. How to look in carcasses. Some of them are also associated with fungi, so it gives you that. So lots of information about the surveying of them, and it's a lovely book. I'm just sort of like I'm falling in love with this book, and I've only had it today. I just want to get out and find some carrion beetles and some other beetles just to sort of like get my eye in and IDing them. So definitely get yourself if you're into beetles at all, and if you're not, why not? Get yourself onto the Field Studies Council website and get this book ordered. That's an order. Something I've done today is sign up for the Big Garden Birdwatch, happening next weekend, the 29th to 31st of January. I'm sure if you're in the UK you're aware of it. It's been well advertised, even in TV. And if you want to take part, it's really easy. You just go to the RSPB website and sign up for the Big Garden Birdwatch, and away you go. And come next weekend, you just spend an hour at your choosing to count the number of birds that you see and the types of birds you see in your garden, and then just send in your results. It's as simple as that, and it's really important because it lets us know how garden birds are doing, what their population is like, if there's any species that are doing well, better than they have been, or getting less. So please, if you get the chance to do it, sign up for the Big Garden Birdwatch. Well, that's us at the end of week 3 of my wildlife here. I'm looking to sort of like maybe develop this a bit more, so I'm thinking about maybe try to do some interviews with people, maybe doing it obviously not in person at the moment, but doing it over the internet. Is that the type of thing you'd be interested in? Remember, just anything at all that you think that you might want to see in one of these that's doable, I'm happy to give it a try. So just either drop me a direct message or just mention in the comments below. Next week, not sure what I'm going to be doing. One of the things that seems to be a running thing, there's always something I try that didn't come off. There's a badger set that I'm pretty certain is active, and I put out some trail cams, so I'd like to try and catch some badger activity this week, but never managed it, so that hasn't made it in this week, so that's shortened this week's My Wildlife Here video by a wee bit. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next week. Okay, so I'll see you then. Cheers, take care.